My videos are ad-free. So if you like these types of videos, like and subscribe. I found the place between our body and our dreams, and now I can't sleep again. For most, the Welsh landscape is considered a hallmark of the country. The long rolling hills and vibrant green and brown flora attract many tourists, I myself included. My goal was to really capture the wildlife and beauty of the country through the medium of photography. Around June 13, 2019 I left for a flight from Arizona to Cardiff. From there I went south to a hotel where I'd be staying. The hotel was clearly old, the outside being stone brick walls caked in moss. It was akin to something you'd see in medieval media. After an awkward and slow interaction with the man behind the desk, he led me to my room. The smallish building had corridors and rooms matching in size, although it felt strangely comforting and safe albeit cramped. Thank the Lord I'm not claustrophobic. My room was one of the more expensive rooms they had on sale, at a pretty nice price of £35 a night. That might sound low, but the other options were much smaller in comparison. Once I walked in I immediately noticed that the room was immaculately clean, the bed freshly made and the wooden floor missing any signs of the previous guest. To be honest, I was impressed. For such a cheap price I was expecting much worse maintenance, even if the room was a bit cramped. Although strangely, under the bed there seemed to be a small damp patch, but I let that slide. The bed was in the center of the room, pushed against the furthest wall from the door. It had an old faded flower pattern on it. It reminded me of my grandma. I chuckled at that thought. On either side there was a bedside table and on the right there was a lamp, the seemingly only light source in the room, other than the main ceiling light. Sure, it was simplistic, but I was only here for a few days, and right now I didn't have the time or energy to worry. The old man had shown me where the bathroom was, and it was also incredibly clean. I was given the impression that this used to be some sort of house that had been converted to a hotel. I locked the door and left my suitcase next to my bed. I admired the gloomy weather through the window, and then decided that the trip had been exhausting enough, and I'd already had dinner. I set an alarm for 5 in the morning, hoping to catch a glimpse of the sun come over the horizon, and I drifted asleep in the rustic-type bed, listening to the rain hit the old tiles on the roof. I woke up in a swimming pool. The room was lit with natural-feeling soft sunlight shining in from small rectangular windows near the ceiling on the high walls. Although it wasn't the brightest, failing to light the entire 50-meter pool up fully. I swam to the side and climbed out, noticing there were no doors or any way to leave the room. Through the high-up windows all I could see was a white light. That's when I noticed I couldn't see the bottom of the pool. The light lit up a few meters of the top, but it couldn't reach far down enough to see the bottom. From where I was it looked almost endless. Staring into it made me feel strangely sad and empty, but also curious. What would hell could a pool so deep hold? That's when the first body came up. It was a guy. He was wearing normal everyday clothes, some jeans and a black jumper. He came from the bottom of the pool and just slowly floated up out of the darkness, face down and limp. I stared anxiously for a couple of seconds, suddenly realizing how strange the situation was. And then a second body came up. This one was wearing different clothes, presumably a woman, guessing from the pink jacket and skinny jeans. She was also face down and limp, and also floated slowly to the top of the pool. Realizing I had no other option, considering the lack of doors, I sat on the side of the pool, watching as body after body came up, and occasionally fell down into the black abyss at the bottom of the pool. It was strangely peaceful. I must have been there for maybe 10–20 minutes before something really strange happened. A body came up that I recognized. It was my ex-girlfriend Emily. I knew because she was wearing my hoodie that I let her borrow before we broke up because she had to move away to California, and she didn't want to even attempt long distance. I guess it was a going away present. Staring at her now I realized how much I missed her. Of course I had moved on, and the move had happened 5 years ago, but that didn't change the fact that she must have been one of the nicest girls I'd ever met. Her laugh echoed through my mind as I recalled all the memories we had. As I stared at her gently floating in the pool, an idea crossed my mind. Pull her out. You guys haven't spoken years. I saw no reason to object, and she was really close to the edge, so I walked a bit closer to where she was and grabbed her outstretched arm. I pulled her in slowly until she was right by the side. Then I froze. And an anger built in me. Why did she have to leave me? We were perfect together. We were fine as we were. I bet she's fucked so many guys since then. I bet to her I was just another piece of meat to derive small pleasure from. Did she even appreciate me for who I am? Did she even love me? I grabbed her head by the hair, and the thoughts in my head grew louder and faster, until they were just a repeated line of fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and I pulled her head up, and then slammed it back into the pool, trying to cause as much pain as possible with the short maneuver. And I froze again. What am I doing? I let go, falling back onto my ass. And then a voice spoke up from next to me. It was a woman's voice, calm and soothing. That was both pathetic and pointless. You won't achieve anything like that. I'm stunned for a couple of seconds before managing to mutter the words H hello. So what brings you here? I, confused, asked, W what do you mean? The voice answers, still as soothing as it started. Well, it's not every day someone wakes up, so surely you must have come for a reason. So I'll ask again, what do you desire from this place? I slowly stood up, scanning the room for anyone who could be talking. Well, this time the voice was louder, echoing through the room. Suddenly I felt a presence to my left. There was a woman who seemed almost 7 foot tall, with long brown hair, and pretty average features just standing there. I immediately jumped. What the fuck? I shouted. A grin spread across her face and she sat down on the edge of the pool, her long legs dangling into it. I joined her. I guess you really don't know why you're here, she finished with an almost childlike giggle. Where am I? Was the first question I was able to ask. She answered immediately. This is where you go when you first fall asleep, before you can begin dreaming. She continued, people who wake up in this stage are usually looking for something, or dead. I looked at her in shock. You're saying I could be dead? She giggled at this and paused for a moment, looking me up and down. It's a possibility, but a very small one. I paused. That set my nerves to rest for now. There was a moment of silence. Suddenly she spoke up. So what was that all about with you and that girl? Do you know her? I felt embarrassed having been caught doing something so incredibly cruel. And no, that's not what I'm usually. She cut me off, the soothing voice tinged with a slight trace of anger. That wasn't what I asked. Why were you trying to hurt that girl? I paused. Guilt welled up inside me. I wanted to cry. I felt like a kid who was caught drawing on the table in school. We used to date, I said. She didn't follow up, so I continued. I was mad at her because she broke up with me, but I don't know what came over me. Her response surprised me, but also set the emotions I was feeling to rest. The anger in her voice was gone, and the calming feeling was back. So you took out what anger you had on her? I answered, the shame clear in my voice. Yeah. Another, equally long moment of silence. So who are you? I asked, trying to break the silence. I own the pools. Pools. So it's not just one. Nope, there's an infinite amount. That's why it took me so long to find you. So are you like God or some sort of deity? Are you going to judge me based on my sins? In a way, yes. I was tasked to make sure the transition of the soul from the body to their dreams is safe, and nothing nasty gets in. I don't care about your sins though. Not my job. She chuckled. Wait, what do you mean by something nasty? Well, you know nightmares? Yeah. Those are the nasty things. It's like bad water in the pool. If the body sits in the bad water for long enough, then they'll have a nightmare. It's quite simple. Another pause. Curious, I ask, so what's down there? Nothing good. You don't want to go down there. Don't ever go down there. But she practically screamed at me, don't ever go down there. Accepting this, and fearing for what she would do if I pressed on, I changed the subject. So when will I wake up? She looked at me strange, as if I had said something completely insane. You can't wait, what? I'm stuck here. Her look of confusion grew, scaring me almost. I had forgotten that I was talking to something beyond my understanding. I reminded myself this wasn't a normal woman. Of course. I can't allow you to leave. Knowing about this place is enough to bring you here. I don't want thousands of people waking up here. Oh, maybe that's why you woke up here, she giggled again, the same childlike laugh from before. Maybe your mind strayed too far from the path. To something close enough to this. She paused. Thoughts are a powerful thing, unique for everyone. For a second I stared at her in shock. I felt defeated. There wasn't much I could do. I didn't want to be stuck here forever. What would happen to my body? Surely I'd die eventually, right? Then I remembered Emily, her sweet smile and laugh, and how she'd light up my day. I can see her again. I'll escape and I'll see her again, and we'll fall in love all over again. And then an idea popped into my head. Jump for the pool. I looked at her and then at the pool. She was just staring into the pool's water, almost in a trance. I stood up, she watched silently. I slammed one foot onto the marble tile floor and dived into the pool headfirst before she could even register what I was doing. I swam as hard and as fast as I could down towards the bottom of the pool, until my body felt tired. I could hear her screaming after me, the sound reverberating through my body. It was so loud. Then suddenly, I was surrounded in darkness. I woke up. I was back in the hotel room. The room's lights were off. The only light was coming from the hall through the slightly askew door. I felt relief wash over me. Wait, didn't I lock the door? Heavy footsteps slowly came down the hall, and I was paralyzed. I couldn't move anything. Bang, 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 the footsteps stopped outside my door. There was a slight shuffling from the other side of the door, and a hand wrapped around the side of it. My entire body felt like it was on fire. It was like something from a kid's nightmare. Then the head peeked around the door. If I could feel my body, I would have puked. Even looking back on it now, I want to throw up. It was like something it never seen before. It was an old woman's face, except the eyes were missing. The entire face drooped downwards like it was loosely attached to her, and her skin was a pale gray, with a few loose strands of gray hair on her head. And then the door opened fully. She was completely naked. She dropped onto all fours and crawled across the room and onto the bed until she was directly above me, her face inches from mine. Her mouth opened, devoid of anything inside. Just an empty abyss. You shouldn't have come here. Her voice was raspy and old, it scraped against my ears like nails on a chalkboard. Her mouth didn't move fully when she spoke. A moment passed. She was breathing heavily. Her breath smelled like chlorine. I'm still in the pool. Oh, the things I'm going to do to you. She stroked my chin with her finger. Oh, you're completely at my mercy. You shouldn't have come here. I know that she told you not to come here. But you came anyway, didn't you? Perhaps you missed Granny so much. Another moment passed. If I could move, I would have pissed my pants several times over. She held her face in front of mine still. I haven't had a visitor in oh so long. That stupid girl keeps taking my precious children away. She leaned closer. I tried to move. I tried to move every muscle in my body to escape, but nothing would. I closed my eyes. Oh, you silly boy, you can close your eyes, but you can't get away from me. The sun will be up soon. It's a shame to have to wait another night to see you again. I guess it can't be helped. She slowly moved her face away from mine, and slowly reversed out the room, stopping at the door to say one last thing, but this time her voice was different. It was the same as my grandma's. Good night, sweetie, I'll see you next time, and with that she slammed the door shut, leaving me in complete darkness. I think I passed out from fear. I woke up again in the hotel room, my phone alarm blaring on the dresser. I stood up as fast as possible and picked up my suitcase and turned off my alarm, my heart racing so fast I thought it was going to burst out my chest. My attention was grabbed by the sun shining outside, its light washing a sense of relief over me. I could hear birds tweeting outside and cars passing on the road outside. It was all just a dream. Thank God. And then I looked at my bed. It was wet. It was really wet. And there was a smell in the air. It was familiar. I couldn't place it at first. But then it clicked, it's chlorine. I was thrown into a panic. I started crying. No, this can't be happening. This can't be real. I just want to be home where I know I'm safe. I grabbed all my stuff and left as fast as possible, not looking back at the stone hotel. It wasn't a place of fantasy. It was a place of nightmares. I took the first plane home, and the second I got here I opened my laptop and started writing this now. My hands hurt from how fast I've been typing, and I feel dizzy and tired. I will have to sleep soon. But I don't want to see Granny again. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos like these, and feel free to suggest specific topics or stories.